Hi, I'm Dr. Laurie Hess, and I'm a bird and exotic animal veterinarian. And this is Katie, and she and I actually work in the Northeast where there's been some really horrible storms lately. Hurricanes, cold weather, and snow. And we wanted to just let you know that if you live in any of these areas, or in any area where there's a big climate change, and you own exotic pets of any kind, you may be facing symptoms in these pets that you really need to recognize before the animals get too sick. So we wanted to let you know a few things you might be looking for in these pets before they get really ill. Here is our pet. This is our Eclectus parrot, Stop. And one of the things we've seen quite a bit of lately since the cold weather came is that birds that are in cold weather or in prolonged periods where there is no power, no electricity, or they're in the dark, get very frightened. They'll fluff up when they're cold. They'll try to trap warm air between their feathers and their bodies to stay warm. Often they'll stop eating. They're very stressed out if they're in the darkness and they're not used to being in the dark all the time. So those are signs you want to recognize, because birds who are not eating and are fluffed up get dehydrated very quickly and are prone to illness. So if you see that in your bird, you want to get the bird to a warm place, back into the light, and into more comfortable surroundings. In addition to birds, we see a lot of reptiles like this incredibly beautiful chameleon here. And reptiles are particularly sensitive to being cold and in darkness because they're cold-blooded, which means that their body temperatures are actually controlled by the environmental temperature. So if it gets very cold in their surroundings, their body temperature actually drops. Their immune system doesn't work as well. Their metabolism slows down, their digestion slows down. They actually go into a period of hibernation, or brumation as it's called. And this makes them subject to becoming very ill as well. So reptiles, perhaps more than any other exotic pet, must be kept warm and in the light. And when they're not, they can develop serious health problems. So again, if you're at a power outage, you don't have heat, you don't have light, it's cold, you need to try to keep your reptiles as warm as you can and get them to an area where you can set up their tanks normally so that they can warm up and function as they should. We've seen quite a few of these animals in the recent storms, and we've had to bring them back to life, to these vibrant colors that you see this chameleon has. He didn't quite look like that when he came in. He was dehydrated and weak, and he's looking much better now. In addition to birds and reptiles, we have some small mammals like this adorable little bunny. Sorry, honey. This little bunny here, who, mammals are often able to tolerate a little bit more cold for a longer period. Bunnies have fur, so do guinea pigs, chinchillas, some of the other small mammals we deal with. But even after a few days, they can get very stressed out if it's cold in their environment or it's dark, or if you've had to move them around, if you move houses because you don't have power and you go to your friend's house. The animals like this don't adjust readily. So bunnies like this, we've seen quite a few of them. They stop eating. They develop something called gastrointestinal stasis, which is a fancy name for slowing down of the intestinal tract. And that happens when bunnies get stressed. For whatever reason, they stop eating, and the normal bacteria that ferment inside their intestinal tract, keeping them healthy as they eat all the vegetables that they eat, suddenly change, and the gas-producing bacteria come in. Those gas-producing bacteria produce a lot of gas and make them very uncomfortable, perpetuating the cycle of gastrointestinal stasis. So they stop eating, stop producing stool, and this condition can be a life-threatening illness unto itself. So if you see that in your rabbit, if your rabbit is not eating, or your guinea pig, or your chinchilla, or other small mammal, you really need to bring them to a warm place, make their surroundings as comfortable as possible, and even syringe feed them if they stop eating. And that's something you should be talking to your veterinarian about even before it happens, because you don't want to wait till you're stuck in an emergency without any formula to syringe feed to be dealing with this. So again, whether you live in the Northeast or anywhere else where there are rapid climate changes or you're dealing with storms, you want to be prepared. Have a conversation with your vet about what to do if you own one of these exotic pets. And don't be shy. Ask lots of questions. It's better to be safe than sorry. And don't hesitate to ask. Good luck.